2, 3, 4. Yeah, we got Samuel
Yeah.
Chong here, and we got Fat Jesus live here.
Welcome, everybody.
So-
I'm Fat Jesus Live. Welcome. And yes, we have Samuel Chong. I am flustered beyond belief. I have actually researched Samuel Chong before, and I am like, wow. I'm like blushing because I had no idea that today, I was going to be here on this stream with the Samuel Chong, and I'm like blown away for this. So, I mean, like some of you guys don't even know who this guy is, but this guy has flown around the world, across the world, to be with us right now. And where are you at right now today, Mr. Samuel Chong?
Right now, I'm in Los Angeles.
What?
Yeah, it's so
Man.
funny, man. I've been following you, bro, and you have been to some conventions around already, right? Like you've been to
Yes.
quite a few of them, man. Like you've been like I talked to you 4 or 5 years ago, and you actually gave me a book to read, which we're going to talk about, Thiaoouba Prophecy by Michel Dumarquet. I couldn't say that the first time when we had these discussions, but you put me on this book and I read it. There's a lot of things in there that came out when I researched what was in there, to come out to be pretty accurate or somewhat, verified by some kind of archaeological dig, artifact, or some kind of written statement or something like that. And then I started thinking, and I don't know if you remember this or not. I asked you about the relationship between him and Enoch because Enoch has some kind of similar abduction, if you can say, without offending some people, right? And but there's a lot of similarities in this book. And what happened in this book, the events, is what's in the Bible in a sense, right? So that it kind of verifies, one and both of the same, right? Like you can't believe the Bible and not believe this because this has the same kind of kind of feel to it, and you can pick and choose if you want to, but still you just can't deny what is there because there are individuals in the Bible that had the same experience as Michel Dumarquet. And you've been presenting this information for years since then. We had 2 discussions before. The first discussion is the one that I learned about the book and you gave me, and then the second one is basically what I've learned about it. And tell me, what is something that you get out of this the most from telling people about what this event?
Well, I think I learned that the most overlooked sentence in the Bible is the kingdom of God is within you. Very few priests teach about it, and not a lot of pastors talk about it. But I think this is the most important sentence in the Bible because people should look inside for the answers that they're looking for, not to rely on something like the media or the government or the pastors or the church or organized religions because they tend to serve as the agencies or intermediary agencies when in fact you can connect to the source, the creator directly by praying, by meditating, or just by having a good night of sleep. So I think this is the most important sentence that most people overlook.
And you said the one word creator. So out of out of all that you've learned in the last few years and what you just said, the creator, the one, is that just one God, one source?
Yes, just one God, one source, one spirit, or the great ether, which is composed of something that is not physical because it's a pure spirit. So this is why a lot of Catholic people believe that God has no face because no one has seen God. God is a pure spirit. It's not the angels or the people who appear to be like beings in front of, for example, Noah or the people who later learned that the two cities of Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed. So angels are angels, beings are beings, but God is God. God is a pure spirit.
I
And
I believe that. Yeah.
yeah. No, go ahead, Jesus. Go ahead. Say what you got to say.
No, I'm in concordance with that. I could get behind that. What he just said. God is the one God, and I think a lot of people can get behind that too. You could make a whole religion behind that. I mean, seriously. And I read some of the about especially with the title that you had right there. I mean, but I guess there's some controversies about Jesus traveling halfway across the continent because everybody believes that Jesus stayed around Israel and in that area and didn't go beyond that area, and but now we're talking about Jesus being in China, Japan, and all across. And then there's some people saying he was in Arabia, and then there's even religions that say that Jesus was in America too. So please elaborate more about that, Samuel.
So there are actually two different entities or people or beings during the time of Jesus. There are two Jesuses. One was the one who was born from Virgin Mary, who could not perform miracles, who traveled to India through China and died in Japan. So this is why there's a tomb of Jesus in Shingo village, Japan. So that's the Jesus who had a very profound conversation with the teachers of the temple, who did not really perform any miracles. So this is why when you read the Bible, before Jesus began preaching, there's no record of him performing miracles. But on the other hand, there's also another person or entity named Christ. Christ is the one who preached about spirituality, about love, and who died on the cross and then resurrected 3 days after. He was able to perform all the miracles as described in the Bible. So he was a different person, different entity, according to the book Thiaoouba prophecy. So the reason that they came here was that in the time of Romans, there were a lot of confusions related to different gods or goddesses, causing a lot of issues with the people, especially the Hebrews or the Jewish people in the Middle East. So, in order to fulfill the prophecies, they had Jesus born out of virgin, and also to catch people's attention that someone extraordinary was going to be born this way. So that's the reason that Jesus was born out of an embryo put in by the ETs into the uterus of Virgin Mary. I know this sounds maybe a little bit crazy, but this is what happened according to the book. But Christ came because he was just to preach about spirituality and love, and people in the past were kind of skeptical, like people nowadays. Unless someone who could perform miracles, his teachings wouldn't have been believed by the people at that time. So this is why they had to send one of their own to perform the miracles. Um, and the reason that Jesus couldn't perform miracles is because, like, when the astral body of a person goes into the embryo, it would have to pass through what the ancient Nagas would call the river of oblivion, forgetting all the knowledge to perform miracles. So that's why Jesus couldn't perform miracles, but Christ could. So at the same time, like the 3 year time when Christ was preaching, there were actually two entities on earth. One was Jesus, and the other was Christ. So that's what happened.
That's interesting because no matter how you look at it, and I was having a wonderful discussion with somebody about this earlier, is that you guys just put Jesus and extraterrestrials and even the Bible together, meaning that, and you even said yourself, Samuel, there is just one source, one God, right? And it all goes back to one, right? No matter how you look at it. I was just talking about this earlier, that even if you talk about extraterrestrials, there's going to be a question about Jesus and God in the sense of what we understand, right? And I've read plenty of books from Dolores Cannon. I'm not sure if you know who that is.
Yeah.
You do. She talks about this stuff. Like when she hypnotized somebody, they may be describing something that would be an extraterrestrial, something living outside of Earth's atmosphere, because that's all that word really means, right? they would later talk about, she would ask them a question like, hey, do you know who Jesus Christ is? And they would say, yes, Jesus was sent to earth to help humanity. And you know, words can trip people up a lot, because words can either make people feel good or it can make them feel bad, and it's usually just how they interpret that word. Sometimes you got to learn how to separate that and see what that word means, and see how that word can be used for different people, because that could be the best way somebody else could be describing it. You know, it's always wise to have somebody look over your paper to check your work to see if it sounds good. It might sound good to you, but it might not sound good to somebody else, type thing, right? So you have to take things for what it's worth. And like I said, I've read a lot of books in the past about, you know, abductions and aliens, and I've read a lot of mythology and history. Fat Jesus is actually more of an expert in tridactyls. I'm not sure if you know what that is at all, Samuel.
No, what is that?
So, is there any description that you know of that have these beings, entities with just three fingers or three toes or something like that?
No.
So there are beings that have been dug up in South America and Peru. So far, they have scanned 13 of them, but supposedly I have received word that they have 120 bodies that have been dug up, but they haven't scanned them all. But they have found mummies. The reason why they're considered mummies is because there's it's called diatomaceous earth. Diatomaceous earth is just basically because it's considered like a desert, and because the diatomaceous earth preserves the body so well, it creates like a mummy-like type uh, uh, body, and it's so delicate. So when they pull the body out, it's so fragile, and these bodies look so alien-like. So here it is in front of you right here. And they almost look Asian. When you look at 'em. But they have three fingers and three toes
Mhm.
on each of them. And there have been some people that have come out and say these are hoaxes and lies, and they have gone as far as saying that somebody has created these, and but they have done so many extensive tests. Professionals, like actual professionals, not fake people, not people pretending to be scientists. These are real life professionals, scientists that have been doing that have degrees, have multiple degrees in the fields, that have sent in that have sent in the DNA, and they have sent in the carbon dating and all that stuff all over the world to different companies all over the world, to Canada, to and Germany has also sent out some too, and they have returned the data saying that they're over 1,000, 2,000, even 3,000 years old. So these beings, and I don't call them alien. Now, there are some people that have jumped onto the alien bandwagon and say these are aliens, but I call them beings. And basically, I and Professor Ed Casas, we go around saying that they have lived on Earth before human beings. And basically, they may have, and we don't know for sure. We're hypothesizing that they helped humanity build up languages and mathematics and all that stuff when they were on Earth, and that's where we ourselves evolved. But these beings right here is basically where we get most of our lore from, most of our mythology, and also China has a lot of depictions that look like these beings in their artistry. And when you think about it, their artistry and their depictions of these beings, they mix it up and say, well, you know, they have humans, like, you know, but they also have sculptures with three fingers and three toes, and then they call them dragons, but then they have human heads, you know.
Yeah.
So they tried to come up with an excuse. Their scientists come up with an excuse saying they put a human head on a dragon's body. But here we have proof of a human, and nobody stuck a human head on top of a dragon's body. And these are not fakes; these are real bodies.
I see.
So there's more and more of them being dug up, and this is just within a 10 to 13-year period. So it's still brand new. This is not 60 years or 100 years like the um Paracas skulls. So it's still fairly new, and we still need more time to study them and understand them. And this is the field that I've decided to go into, and
Great.
I'm still studying the cultural anthropological side of them, and I still don't know who they are, what they did. All I know is that Nazca, Peru has objects in the ground that glorifies whatever it is that flew in the air, and whatever they placed on the ground only makes sense if you flew in the air, you know? And nobody flies back thousands of years ago. Nobody had flying contraptions thousands of years ago. So whoever was flying thousands of years ago, I think we found them. you know but we haven't found their flying machines yet. Maybe we will. Maybe they have. But here you are talking about what you have found, or what you have been talking about, maybe a connection, and these might be them.
Yeah, we have to know that we know that there are different kinds of ETs. Just in our Milky Way galaxy, when Shaw was on the planet Thiaoouba, he actually saw different kinds of ETs,
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
extraterrestrials. Yeah, some of them don't have 5 fingers or toes.
Yeah, that's why I was asking if you remember anything specifically about three fingers and three toes or anything like that. Because I remember there was always something different. Matter of fact, the reason why there's so many different people on this planet is because they came from somewhere else. There was a
Yeah.
planet for each individual, from what I understand. Correct me if I'm wrong, of course. And there was also places where, matter of fact, like if you read the Bible, this is not the first Earth. There's been many Earths. And depending on how you look at that wording and understand it, you can describe it how you want to feel like that. But that is no different than when you go onto the field, like how you're talking about something outside of Earth's atmosphere. I believe science enough to trust it with a lot of things that I do. Right, I'm using a computer right now to communicate with you guys. That's science. I'm trusting it enough to communicate with you guys, right? But I also trust it enough to understand that things can always be different. Like if science tells me that mathematically that there are multiple planets out there, then obviously there has to be life outside this earth, right? And anything that lives outside this earth, or anything that's outside of this earth, is known as an extraterrestrial, no matter what. That's the modern definition. That's You don't have to look at it as three fingers, three toes type of individuals. You can if you want to, but that doesn't necessarily, you can have a three finger, three toe individual on earth that was always on earth. That's not extraterrestrial, but alien, because it's different than us, right? But anyway, for the most part,
Can you hold on for 1 second?
Yeah.
Tammy Cat Snide says, "Oh my God, they have debunked this." But the people that have debunked this are people in America that do not work close to the tridactyls.
And I was gonna actually hit up on that and ask Samuel this question, because this is important. Um, we here in America, we accept certain things, not always, with the respect from the government and certain individuals, but within certain communities, we understand that there's possibly of extraterrestrials. We know that there's a God. We know there's a creator. We know that there's other dimensions, and so on and so forth, right? Why is it that America is the bread and butter for verifying that everybody is right or wrong? Because right now you're working with talking about also with aliens in China, right? And I don't know too much about how China feels about aliens, and maybe you can share that with us. But it seems like if there's not a peer reviewed article that comes from America, if there's no scientific data or no belief that comes from America, then people would disband that information, don't even want to listen to it. How do you feel about that? But that what I said.
I think this is probably because people are not diligent enough to do their own research, and they're just relying on the U.S. Government to take the lead. And also, we have to distinguish the U.S. government and Chinese government, as well as the people, because the governments behave alike. The Chinese government doesn't reveal anything either, even though
Mm,
they retrieved crashed UFOs as well in the 1990s. They did not reveal what they did to them. They did not reveal if their existence. So the private ufologists in China revealed, based on what they learned from the witnesses who kind of were close to the crash vehicles and reported to the military, the Chinese military. So there is a sense of kind of respecting the government and also relying on the government. However, I say that we have the knowledge. The people can have the knowledge that the government does not necessarily have. So we can actually know more than the government just through the book Thiaoouba Prophecy, because the book reveals everything about the paranormal, about the ancient civilizations, about where we all came from, about the different religions, about the real dangers on Earth, as well as the different political systems that need to be improved. Not just the political system of China, but also the U.S. It actually talks about a lot of things that we can take advantage of, such as the effects of colors and also the human energy fields, which can predict a lot of the physical illness. So the book reveals the knowledge, uh, such as reincarnation, about past lives, near-death experiences, a time machine, and the ET technologies, how to develop your psychic abilities. So you just need to read the book to know everything. And after reading the book, you're going to know more than the government. So if people just take the time to do it, then they don't need to rely on the government. And also
mm,
they can take actions that are going to lead to a grassroots movement.
mm,
Remember that all the great revolutions started at the grassroots level, not from the politicians at the top. I mean, I'm talking about the long-lasting, successful revolutions in the world. Chairman Mao started in the rural parts of China. So did a lot of revolutions of other countries. So people need to understand that they can really persuade the government to reveal or disclose the things that they don't know about, and they can
mm,
empower themselves with the right knowledge. And I think the book Thiaoouba Prophecy provides the right knowledge for people to take in.
mm. Okay, I respect that, and I say that because uh, for me, from what all the stuff that I've read, that book definitely gives me a piece of the information that I need. It solidifies that there's a possibility that this stuff is going to happen many more times after this. Now, one word that struck out to me that you said was book. So, do you think that we should add new books to the Bible every time and stop taking them away, or is there should be should the Bible should only be books that people need at that moment during their journey? Because obviously, this is your journey. I remember when you first started off, man, you was always talking to people, hey, look at this, look at this, look at this, and now you're speaking at conferences and conventions and stuff like that, traveling in the world talking about this, being on radio shows and stuff like that. And it's an honor to have be honored to speak with you on this. And you're always forthcoming and you're always receiving information. Like you don't have any problem receiving new information. Matter of fact, the first time that we spoke and the second time we spoke, I remember you brought up something actually the second time and said, hey, I remember you talking about this and you brought this up and you actually guided me to another place to read in the book. And that's what made me read the book the second time. Because I always say, just because you read a book one time doesn't mean that you got all the information. It's like watching a movie. You don't watch your favorite movie one time. You don't watch a good movie one time, right? You watch it multiple times, and then when you'll always catch something new in that movie, right? And it's the same thing when you're reading books. You may space out in the book at some point and not even realize it. And when you read it the second and third time, you're like, "Oh man, I found something else." Or you might read something that might have struck your curiosity earlier. That's why a lot of times I put notes on my books or tabs and stuff like that. But let me ask you, because I don't know, I don't remember if I asked you this before. Um, do you practice a religion?
I follow the teachings of Christ.
Okay, so and this doesn't affect your belief in Christ at all. Like this, like
That's
Jesus Christ is your savior, right? Like
that's
you can
right.
believe in Jesus and also believe in something that possibly happened, like an abduction by aliens, right?
That's
How do
right.
you how do you explain that to people so they don't be offended? Like, have you ever had to explain that to anybody? Has anybody asked you that question before?
Yes, multiple times. And actually, the book Thiaoouba Prophecy reinforces my belief uh, in following the teachings of Christ, because I truly believe that Jesus Christ was a savior to lead people into a more spiritual um, realm, and also to follow the teachings of Christ will eventually take us into heaven, paradise. But we have to gradually refine our spirits, our spiritual developments. So I think it's important for us to realize that um, this book, Theoba Prophecy, is not a replacement of the Bible. It's actually something that may reinforce or strengthen people's belief in following the teachings of Christ. In fact, when I came here in the US about 33 years ago, I read the Bible and I couldn't believe anything written in the Bible. I did not believe anything written in the Bible because everything just seemed to me too strange and too weird to be true. But after reading the book Theoba Prophecy, it made me believe that everything that Christ said should be followed, and we should take his actions and words seriously. And the book Theoba Prophecy also connects the dots, explains everything that the Bible did not or did not were not able to explain. So this is something that is very unique to the book Theoba Prophecy because it actually may put someone in reading the Bible again, especially the four Gospels in the New Testament of the Bible.
Yeah, so I like how you put that because a lot of people, if you believe in Jesus, then you can't believe in extraterrestrials. If you believe in God, you can't believe in extraterrestrials. But one of the first things you said when you first came on here was one creator, one God, one source. So that's amazing that you said that. Um, what is something that you learned in the last few months that got you going down a rabbit hole?
Well, I think a lot of people here in the U.S. They kind of talk about this topic, and they know kind of certain information, and they talk about it from one angle, but when in fact everything is connected. For example, if you look at the ancient alien people, they'll always talk about the ancient aliens and also the connection of the ETs, and sometimes, but they don't realize that they're um, economical and also theological and other implications when the disclosure happens. And they're working as in silos, and sometimes they don't kind of necessarily want to collaborate with people in different fields, like the people who talk about paranormal events, ghosts, Bigfoot, things like that. When in fact everything can be connected and everything is connected. I just wish that people in different fields, the ancient alien guys and some of the other fractions of the UFO community, and some of the paranormal people, they can work together so that and also NDE, near death experience, people who have this kind of experiences, and I think just that I'm going to try to bring them together.
Right on, right on. When I first read this book for the first time, before I even got into it, I was like, okay, first thing I wanted to express to myself was hopefully this is not like every other alien abduction, because I've read a lot of them. And I've read a lot of books from Carl Sagan and so on and so forth. And, uh, Betty and Barney Hill, all these individuals. And this book struck me, like I said, like it reminded me of the book of Enoch, because this individual was taken, was given certain types of knowledge, and was to bring it back here to planet Earth, and was to share it with everybody. Basically, same thing as Book of Enoch. This happened remind me, in 1980, what?
The event took place in 1987.
Yeah, 1987. Yeah. And just to think that in reality, we have to understand that things happen to people at the right time. There's messengers for gods. That's basically what an angel is. If you look up the word angel in the Strong's Concordance, it literally means messenger. So he sends messengers to give out information. Certain people are given certain types of visions to help people, right? Like I said, I was having a discussion with somebody about that today, and it all leads to one source. You said you know who Dolores Cannon is, right?
Yeah.
And in her books, in her 15 books, it's always one source. One source. This doesn't matter what the subject is. It's one source, one God. And no matter how you feel as an individual, even atheists don't have a they wouldn't be atheism if there wasn't a God. So obviously a God is real on some kind of level for them to even atheism to even exist in the first place, right? They don't argue for nothing. I mean, if there's nothing to argue about, if it's not real, there's no reason to argue about it in the first place, right? Now, if there's some kind of truth to it, that's when the arguments come into play. And I've actually seen one video where you was having somebody had asked you, they said that why are you pushing so hard for just this one book, and why you don't promote others? And you actually said that you actually do promote others. It's just that this is your passion right now. You're the expert in this. And I always feel like there has to be a person that's an expert in everything. You've told me plenty of times that you've read all these mythologies before. Matter of fact, you told me about some Asian myths that I actually went and bought some Asian mythology books based off of your recommendations. So why do you think, what do you think that you should talk about how you read other sources, or do you think that people should understand that automatically, that, hey, you've read so much and this is where you're using right now to help with the information that is needed from this book itself?
I mean, when I read any book, I need to have um, read so, I need to see or read any of the specific verifiable facts contained in the book, information or facts that I didn't know before, but something that I can verify. And this book, Thiaoouba Prophecy, contains that. And also, I recommend other books as well, such as Real Magic by Dean Reading, and also the other book, How to Read and See Aura by Judith Collins, and Hands of Light by Barbara Brennan. So they all contain specific verifiable information that makes sense, makes logical sense, or they have foundations to back them up. So when I read the other books, such as channeled information, um, I just feel that they need to be more grounded. I just cannot buy it totally just because that is the information channeled by someone, unless the information contains specific verifiable facts that I didn't know about, but something that they can verify.
May I ask you a question, Samuel?
Sure.
In your culture, and you are considered American or Chinese?
Chinese American.
Chinese American. And you understand China a lot? Do you understand the culture in China?
Yes, I do a little bit.
Okay.
Yes.
And are you mostly and please explain, Are you more Taiwanese Chinese, or are you more Chinese, or are you more American Chinese? I know there's different aspects of China, and there's different cultures in China. So there's South cultural China, there's North cultural China, there's West, there's East. They're all different because they speak different dialects as well, correct?
Yes, I'm from Beijing, China, northern China, the mainland China, and I also lived here for about 33, 34 years.
Hmm.
So I consider myself like
The
Chinese
the
American.
more the more advanced part of China.
Not
So
necessarily. Shanghai, people from Shanghai consider themselves to be more advanced, and people in Hong Kong consider themselves to be more advanced. It's just depends.
It's not like the kung fu movies where the cities are all dilapidated and falling apart, and you walk into one of the little towns and they all look like they're decrepit or anything. When I see the cities today on YouTube, they look immense. They look so futuristic. And then there's different levels too. I look at these cities and people actually make videos, and you have to walk into a building just to get to the next level in the mountain, because every building is in a mountain. And then so you have to go in and get in an elevator. And then just to get to the next block, you have to go in through a building just to get to the next block, then go into the other building just to get down to the other block. That's crazy.
Yeah,
It's
you're,
so
you're
wild.
you're talking about Chongqing city. It's,
Yeah.
that city is very unique because it has a lot of hills and mountains.
You can't look. You can't just go, I want to go there and just walk straight. You have to actually know you have to know which buildings to go to just to get there. You can't
That's a
just look and
defensive
just go
move, right?
straight.
That has to be a defensive move then, right? I'm gonna
Well,
have to look into that town.
it's just a natural
City.
landscape.
It's a city.
Oh,
It's a huge city. I
Yeah,
mean, you can never visit the whole city in one day. You have to be there for a month or two to actually travel all around. I don't even think you could even, not even 2 months, you could travel around that city. I mean,
so
it's
not
so
since
huge.
so now that we're talking about China, this is my next question because this is where the controversy comes in. We know about the aliens, and we know they're
I
all
haven't
over the
even
world.
finished my question.
Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
So, the people themselves, culturally, do they really? I mean, do people? What's the percentage of people believing in nonsensical or in mythology as real? How many people are still burning incense and believing, or what's the percentage of people that are backing up behind science, or how many people are still believing in God? You know what I'm saying? Like they still pray to God and really think about God taking care of their lives. And what's the percentage of people, just a roundabout? I know you don't need to be exact at 100%, but just an idea, how many people are more backing up science as taking care of their family and lives in comparison to people that are believing in religion as more of like, I think God is gonna take care of my family and will heal my mom and my dad or myself. I'm going to take that route instead. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
yeah, yeah. I would say
Or
about
both, or both.
yeah. I would say about 50% of the older people in rural parts of China
Well,
still
that's a big
believe
number.
in. Yeah, that's a big number. Yeah, but the people in the city is no longer. They may be interested in tarot readings, or they may believe in
Oh, wow.
astrology, but it's kind of westernized belief system. But it's kind of like, I would say it depends on the level of education of the people in the cities. The more educated they are, the more
So they blame it on the West, the astrology, they blame it on the West, but in reality, China's always had astrology.
well, it's a different kind of astrology.
No, but they always had astrology in their lives because
Yeah,
there's the year of the horse, which is the fire horse this year, right?
yeah,
They have, I mean, in fact, the astrology in China is so detailed, so much more detailed than the astrology in the West. I mean, I have studied the astrology in China, and the detail is insane. I mean, there's like the day, the hour, the minute. There's the monkey. Like I have the horse, I have the monkey, I have the ox, I have there's all different animals in my. And you have to follow these different. You have to have the little different figurines that actually match, so that you can have so much luck, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So, oh yeah, oh yeah, I studied it up. It's fantastic. I think it's incredible the culture that surrounds it, and the celebration that surrounds it too is absolutely fantastic. And I don't know. I mean, the people that go out in the street and celebrate it, and they don't just celebrate it for themselves, because I don't think Chinese people are selfish. I think people celebrate it for everyone else as well. Am I right?
Yeah, mostly for their personal interests.
Oh,
They want
is it?
like they have a group mentality, like this for the family, and the family is more kind of like group oriented. So they're part of the family, part of the community, and so this is why they celebrate for their own group, their own community.
Okay. So I mean, I always wanted to visit China so I could understand the cultural effects of how they believe
Shit,
things.
looking at these pictures make me want to go over there right now.
Heck yeah, man.
I'm
That's
not even gonna lie,
beautiful.
bro.
But
It
that's
is,
just
man.
some of them is just one city. But when you go to another city, the nightlife is insane. It's
No, it's
absolutely
just
beautiful.
this is just one city. That's all I need.
Yeah, no, no, but there's other cities are just incredible, incredible, dude. And then there's they even have some cities that they celebrate with drones as fireworks, and they're silent. The drones are silent, so it doesn't disturb everybody. But you see these drones, like thousands and thousands of drones go
That
up and
shit,
do light
that
show.
would scare me right there. This right here would scare me.
Oh, yeah, and there's a lot of people in that car. Oh, you should see the roadways, the incredible roadway. I think it's in Beijing. They have like roadways that connect to islands and lands and everything that are so beautiful, man. It's like an incredible transportation system
Wow.
that they have. Yeah. It puts England to shame. Yeah, it puts the UK to shame. The
Puts
incredible
everybody to shame. This
infrastructure.
one little city right here, dopest city I've seen in a
Yeah,
long
this
time.
is
Maybe.
yeah. So if you go to Chongqing, you're gonna see this kind of landscape where it has a lot of hills. You have to go up, and you have to. Cause it's kind of like a maze. You have to kind of figure out how to get to a location.
Oh, look, who's here? Is that you down there? Oh yeah, that's
That's me.
you.
That's me. Yes. I tapped out the name
You're
of.
putting down what? Oh yeah. Man, I
Oh
mean
yeah.
that looks like a tourist spot. Yeah, that looks like a tourist spot, like the old where they film. Jackie Chan probably
So let
films
me
there.
ask you, because damn, that looks good right there.
You know, Jackie Chan is a national icon in China.
Yeah.
So my question is, it goes to the pyramids. Do you believe there were pyramids in China?
I think
Oh
there
yeah,
are smaller pyramids in China, and they're not as refined.
North China, North China.
North
They
China.
found they found three pyramids, but the bad news is that China put farms on top of them. Farms everywhere. Farms everywhere. You can't even dig archaeological sites. Like it's impossible because there's nothing but farms, farm. And if you're gonna dig anywhere, you have to like find a spot and then dig underneath, but you can't disturb the farms
Yeah.
because the farms are federal.
Yeah.
It belongs to the government. And if you do anything to disturb the farms, you go to jail.
Right. That's right.
You're in trouble. So yeah, I mean, because there's so many people, that there's a massive population, that those farms are very necessary to feed that population. The farms are come first, then archaeology comes like last.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Samuel. Michel Demarque, he was gardening when he got abducted, right?
He was a landscaper, but he
Yeah,
was
landscaper. He was what?
sleeping, and then That's when everything happened. He woke up suddenly when during his sleep,
Oh,
and then he walked
Yeah.
outside of his house, and that's what happened.
Yeah, by his garden, right?
Best regarding, yes,
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah. See, I couldn't remember if he got abducted by it or if he was near. Yeah, because I remember the garden part, and that's interesting to me because that's farming. You see how everything seems to kind of relate to something. He
Yep.
has some type of farm in his yard, and that just makes me think because in reality, in all these old ancient times, biblical times, and so on and so forth, these people were in some cases, gardeners or agriculturalists or some type of person that was plowing the land or something like that. And so with China, who do you think is more open to UFOs and aliens, United States or China, and why?
Um, it's a very good question.
Because oh
Um,
man, I
it
got
depends.
you.
It depends. It depends on the age of the people,
Mm,
because China was fairly open in the 1980s and 90s, allowing the information to be um, spread
mm,
through the official media in China. But later on, they kind of cracked down on such information. So in my like people of my age, like in their 30s or 40s or even in the 50s, they all believe in ETs or extraterrestrials. But the younger people, it really depends on whether they're brainwashed by the media or not. In the
mm.
US, I don't know. Like, what do you think about this? Like, the percentage of the people. I think there's a poll that says something like 50% of the people believe in ETs.
Mm.
Yeah.
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 Czech Republic would love to listen to you and hear your story because I went there 2 years ago. And I went to see Eric von Daniken and speak in the Czech. And Eric von Daniken was a friend of my father's, and
Mm.
he was a photographer for him. My father worked with National Geographic, and Rick von Daniken hired him, and then he spent the rest of his days with him. And most of the books that you see with the photographs in South America and Central America, those are from my dad in his books. So and you could tell because they look fantastic. And then you see the other books that are just black and white. They're just horrifying. I sometimes I think it was him who took the pictures, but they're just blurry and out of focus. My father was an exceptional photographer, and he taught me how to take pictures too. But I'm not that great. And my father was just an amazing photographer. But the thing is that I really miss my dad. So rest in peace. But the thing is that meeting Rick von Daniken and him remembering my dad at an old age was an incredible time spending with him. And being there with people in Czech, I didn't believe that so many people were so in tune with aliens and UFOs. When I was staying there, I didn't see any birds. Like they had crows, and that's it. Like the lack of birds, in Prague was crazy. Like I couldn't even find a pigeon. It was crazy, and there's pigeons everywhere. Like, did they kill off all the pigeons? I mean, I couldn't find an eagle. I couldn't find a hawk. I couldn't find anything. It was like, and then I did go to the zoo there on my last day, and I did find a bunch of animals there, but it was very difficult to find animals in that whole massive city, and and they have really good transportation. So if you ever get a chance to go to Prague, please go visit. It's a beautiful city, beautiful people, by the way. You
Mhm.
know, I mean, it's a different culture, so get ready for a different culture shock, of course. But the people were wonderful with me. I liked them. I enjoyed talking to people, but it's a different type of culture for sure.
That's actually on my list of cities to visit.
Yeah.
Prague.
Oh, and by the way, if you do go to Prague, they do have a train that goes to Germany.
Mm. Yes,
from Prague. So if you do get a chance, put it on your list to go to Germany from
Yeah.
Prague. There's a high-speed train that goes from there to Prague
Yes.
to Germany. You will love. You will. I did not get a chance to do it. I should have done it. I kicked myself in the butt, but I was afraid if I go to Germany, they might detain me. Is that in China?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get to on with Samuel about.
Get
These
the
are the
heck out of
pyramids.
here!
These are pyramids. This is from a South China Morning Post. I read this I want to say a couple of weeks ago. Or
Really? Are
yeah,
you sure those are not like doctored?
this is from. You know about this place right here?
Tong in Beijing. That's in Beijing. That's not South China.
Let's take a look at the location. Um,
Yeah, but all the mountains look almost like that. Look it around.
Yeah, have you ever seen
I-
anything like this,
If
Samuel?
those
no, no,
existed,
no,
China must have mowed them down.
No, you never
I
seen that before.
no. This is my first time. Where is
Yeah,
this
there's
located?
actually a video. I
Oh,
have to look for it. There's a video of somebody driving around,
mhm.
and if you look on the bottom, you probably can't see it that well. Let me see if I can make it large, but
Let's see.
this probably this is the largest. Let me see. So if you look right here, you can see like how it's almost like a foundation stacked on top. I mean, of course, I can't see it, on ground. I can only just assume, but these are supposedly pyramids in that area, and it's supposed to be like all the way in the background. Like I Google Earthed it, the area. I did a live
It
show on
says
it before,
Shaanxi province.
and when I did it, it doesn't. You know how on Google Earth you can click on the street view and see from street view person point of view. They didn't have any locations you can do that for these, and so the reason why I'm asking about this. And the reason why I brought this up is because of the fact with aliens in China, a lot of people associate pyramids with aliens. And
It is like south, but north of Shanggong King.
Yeah, north of Chongqing. Yes. Yes.
Chongqing. Yeah, north of
Yes.
Chongqing.
yeah, so this area, so with just that area, with aliens and the idea of them being real, and we have the book with Thiaoouba prophecy. Do you think that these pyramids may have something to do with a lot of what the pyramids around the world may have?
They
Like,
say they date back to 8,000 years ago,
yeah.
and they also say they were for the emperors.
Well, the emperors have mounds. I know that for a fact because they have mounds like how we have here in America. I know that for a fact because there's lots of pictures.
Those are
of
some
that.
big mounds, I'll tell you that.
No,
I
no,
mean,
you go look at the actual mounds. They actually have. It looks like almost like Native American mounds. Like that's
Yeah.
something I know for a fact because I've seen that plenty of times already. But I'm talking about these pyramids in particular. This is a place that has been not too many people talk about it. It's been a video that has been circulating with somebody driving through the city and videoing this. And I always wanted to know what was your understanding because you get this asked a lot about pyramids and aliens and stuff like that. Aren't you tired of the idea of pyramids and aliens at this point? Like they're always asking you, can it be harboring spaceships and stuff like that? Because I know when we first talked about it, the only reason why we talked about it was because it was like a location that, as far as some people use as like a grid or a marker or something like that. But in reality, that's not mostly what you're focused on, right? You're focused on the fact that there's more knowledge out there, and it's supposed to happen again, right? Like this, like somebody's supposed to come from that planet. What's the planet called again? There's another name for it.
Thiaoouba.
No, the other name. I think there's another name.
Arimo X3.
Yeah, that one. Do you think? Okay, explain that when it comes to relationship with Earth, because we talked about Nibiru, and the reason why I brought up these pyramids is because people say they're grid points here on planet Earth and Nibiru and all this other stuff. How do you feel? Because I know you talked a lot about the pyramids and stuff like that. So I want to switch it from the pyramids being coordinates, but Nibiru being that what's that other word again? Not
Arimo X3.
that one, that X3, that one. Like, do you think there's a relationship between Nibiru and that location?
I'm not really sure, but those people from Arimelech 3 were the ones who brought the technology to the
Yeah.
people to build a Great Pyramid, and that's what I know. But unfortunately, like they had a nuclear holocaust on their planet about 180 years ago. So I don't know if many people survived on their planet. It's just like any other planet. People get jealous to each other with each other, and they have wars and also nuclear wars, and they destroy themselves. So I think this is the lesson we need to learn on Earth.
And I think I agree with you on that because it seems like a lot of times when these extraterrestrials or aliens or whatever the case may be, they it's always sometimes around some kind of nuclear. You have somebody that says, "Hi Samuel, I love what you are doing. Keep it up. Spread the love." I absolutely agree. I mean, we've almost been talking an
Thank
hour
you, yo.
already, and the reason why I'm glad to have this discussion with you again is because I wanted to ask you specifically this: when this when people start realizing that what you're sharing is facts, what's the next step after that?
It's actually illustrated in a book to form collective actions using nonviolent resistance to rise up against tyrannies in the world. Because what we see today is not just like one government of a specific country, is about financial groups or special interest groups um, that are multinational, international, transnational, and they kind of do certain things for their own interests and their purpose. In order to really kind of make the change, we, the people, need to rise up. It's not against the specific government. It's against the groups that control the government. So that goes into some of the secret societies and theories about how a small group number of people control the entire kind of deep state or government. So people have different kind of understanding of how things work, and it takes effort to have the knowledge. Um, so this is why, like in the times of Moses, there were schools of higher learnings, and people learn psychic abilities, and but they have to do that step by step. So it's impossible for anyone just to obtain such information all at once. It takes time and effort to gradually understand how things work in this world. In this world,
Word, word. That's a perfect way to end it. I really appreciate that. Um, I really feel that honestly too. Once we figure out that this is facts and that we can agree, then we have to turn to another plan. So basically, you're not done when you're not done with this. This is You're not just here to share the information. You're here to make a difference, and that's what counts. And I appreciate that because, like I said, I really commend you on your work. You've been out there, I mean, hustling and bustling out there. This information, I read the book many times. I highly recommend everybody to read it. I'm going to promote it like I always have. I'll always talk about it. Fat Jesus wanted to talk to you specifically and be in on this discussion because he respected your work. And I mean, he hasn't read the book yet, of course, but he's been asking questions, and that's all you need to do is just strike curiosity in somebody.
I might visit. I might visit the town. The Christ hometown over there, because it always gets like 20,000 visitors over there.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that real quick. That's something that I just learned about.
The Legend of Christ Museum. They have a museum over there as well in Japan.
Yeah, so you did a video and somebody titled it "Japanese Christ," and we talked about this.
They even have a Christ festival.
Yeah, we actually talked about this. The first discussion you actually told me about Shingo Village in Japan, where Jesus Christ might have had escaped the crucifixion, and him and his family lived the rest of their days there. I actually did some research behind that. That's actually factual. So when I want to tell everybody that's listening right now before we end it, when Samuel Chung says something, he usually has something to back it up, and that was one of the things that helped me trust his knowledge, because when he told me about Shingo Village and that there was an actual place that Jesus might have escaped the crucifixion, and that he
Not me.
things
Not
out
me.
there.
I'm fat Jesus. That. This is the other Jesus.
And he gave me a source, and I looked into it, and that's what led me to say, hey, take the time to read this book. Anybody that's listening, please take the time to listen to Samuel Chung. He has great knowledge. He's very well versed on this book. He knows it like the back of his hand, and he loves talking about it. And he's been to conventions and conferences all around. So I really do appreciate you being here, man. If there's anything else you want to say, brother, say it. Anything you want to say, Fat Jesus, say it, and then we'll just close out. And don't leave yet, Chung, Samuel. We're going to have a sidebar.
We got more
after this.
people coming in and asking questions.
Yeah, those are my subscribers, and
welcome.
Question: Jesus and Buddha, do they teach the same thing? What do you think? Yeah, that's that. I mean, we got a question. Let's answer the question: Jesus and Buddha, do they teach the same thing? What you guys think?
I'll say they basically teach the same thing, but from different perspectives. Jesus was not from this world, but Buddha was. So Buddha was born out of a very wealthy and royal family, but he decided to seek for enlightenment, and he achieved enlightenment. And he began to teach about his personal experience and about suffering, about spiritual principles. Jesus or Christ came here from a different planet and just to teach people about spirituality and love, and also that there's life after death and there's reincarnation. And from different perspectives, but basically they all teach about how we should live our lives on Earth. So basically, yes, the same thing.
So
user QC is also asking, where are the UFOs now? I'm reading Chinese.
Yes. Yeah, we're just talking about certain things, and I think there are a lot of sightings in China, elsewhere, and in the world. But people should connect the dots. The sightings are exciting and can make someone curious about the unknown. But what really matters is how you respond to the challenges in your life, and also.
Can you say that in Chinese to respond to the to your viewer? I would like to hear it.
Yes, I'll do that. Yeah. 所以其实这些外星人或者这些飞碟出现在天空上，并不是最重要的。虽然说有可能会让人家好奇，说这是怎么回事儿，但是最重要的是我们怎么样子能够应对人生之中的挑战，并且能够学到应该学到的功课。其实很多事情都是连在一起的。那我觉得《海洋花园》这本书确实能够给我们很多的智慧。
That's pretty cool, bro.
Yeah, we're bilingual, baby.
No, man, that's amazing, because it brings the world together, man. He's in Virginia, I'm in Georgia, you're in California, and then you got your subscribers all the way on the other side of the world, and that just shows the connection that there are people all over the world that have these beliefs and these understandings, and they all want to work together. Something that you said that's actually written in the book, that after you spread the message, now it's time to work together. This is how you work together, because I guarantee you, we all have different styles. We all have different lifestyles. We may dress differently, listen to different music, like different types of food and television shows and stuff like that. But one thing that we have in common is what we're talking about now, the abduction, right? And that's important, because we can't fight any system without coming together. The system is a system. They have people that come together. That's why their system works. They have somebody for everything. And in this case, you know, your faith in Jesus and being a Christian, this book doesn't take away from it. It helps you come closer, if I'm saying it right, hopefully to Jesus. That's saying, yeah, this brings me closer to Jesus in some ways. And you don't always have to read a book to know something. Some things are just known, right? That's how some people, I mean, it just is what it is. It's known by a vision or some kind of message or something like that. So it's given to us in some kind of way for us to understand it. Nobody can tell anybody else what they've experienced. I can't tell you that you didn't experience any UFOs. Let me ask you, have you ever seen any UFOs in your lifetime? I'm pretty sure I asked you that before, but I can't remember what the answer was.
The answer was no, and still is no.
Still haven't had.
I have.
What about you? Have?
I have.
What did you say? Explain it.
Well, oh my goodness. It was okay. So it's crazy. All right. So all the clouds were moving. You know how you see a bunch of clouds moving, and then one cloud just staying one spot. And it's so weird because the cloud would not move at all. And would just stay right there, just stay. And it's just so odd that one single cloud would stay in one spot, and it would stay within the same area where the clouds were moving too. And it's like camouflaged with all the other clouds. And then everybody around me, and this was in Peru, would say, yeah, we always see that. There's always like a cloud just staying in one spot. And it wasn't unusual for the Peruvians, and this was in Iquitos, Peru.
Mm-hmm.
And they would always report, people were so used to it, they were desensitized by the clouds. The UFOs, or as we say, the extraterrestrials, they would not make themselves known to the public in the area in the Amazon rainforest. So they would pretend to be exactly as the cloud, and it's huge. It's a huge UFO too. So within the Amazon rainforest area. So when you guys look into the clouds, always look for the one static cloud within all the clouds that are moving in the sky.
I do that already because I've seen the movie Nope. But hey, here's another question.
Where do you think they get the idea from? You know?
Yeah, I guess.
The movies get the ideas from the reality, from people's stories.
What about this question right here, Samuel? Have you guys read Gospel of Thomas, Jesus' words? They are very similar to Buddha's teaching. Look inward and develop spirituality. Very cool. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I read the Gospel of Thomas. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you know, and that, like I said, I've watched a couple of, I want to say at least 3 or 4 of them, back to back, and I think like 2 out the 3 or 4. 2 of the people asked, well, why do you only promote this book? Why don't you ever promote other books? And I was like, but he does. He always talks about this stuff. It's just you got to do it depending on the person asking the question. And I noticed that you only answer questions. You don't really like have a presentation. So, do you ever think that you should do a presentation for it? That might be something that you could look into, like create a PowerPoint slide.
Yeah, I actually have 3 presentations.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, one on Thiaoouba prophecy, this book. The second one on the human biofield, auras, or the human energy fields. And also the third one is on secret societies.
Hey, got a question. Can we set those 3 discussions up then with those presentations?
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to know that. I want to pick your brain. I want to pick your brain.
Yeah, love it.
That would actually.
You have to first read some of the books I recommend.
Oh no, you know I will. You know
you will.
You already know I will. You said that
I'm
last time.
put the title of the book here so you can check it out.
Okay, yeah, do that.
Yeah, he'll definitely read it.
Yeah, you know I will. I did the same thing.
He loves reading. He'll read through them. He speed reads.
3:30.
He's like Data from Star Trek.
Let me see. Let me look it up now. That right there, 3:30.
I won't be able to give you the book.
He's like, you know who Data is from Star Trek Next Generation? No, Data. You got to look it up. Data, DATA, Data. Rebirth of the Word. He's like Data. He whenever he reads, he goes like this through the pages. And then
Is it this
book
one right
completely
here?
read.
No, let's see. Make sure. Let me see if it's this one right here. This one right here.
Yeah, that's the one. Yes, but I
Oh,
have to
that's your
warn.
book. Oh, man, hell yeah! I want to get that
Oh, I
now.
told you, man. He has a book.
But I have to
Who is
warn
it?
you.
He's a translator.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'm definitely going. Yeah, I just seen that. Yeah, okay. So I tell you what, I'll read this book.
But I have to
Um,
warn you, it has a very disturbing content. It talks about the rituals that they perform, and you can skip the pages you
so
find.
it's like occultism almost.
Yes, almost like that.
Okay, so I'm okay. I got a lot of occultism books, man. Like
Okay.
a lot of
I
occultism
just have to
books.
warn you beforehand.
No, I got you. I already seen it.
334%. I didn't even know that existed. Usually it stops at 100%.
No, you know what?
It's
What
There's
if this
something
has to do
special
with
about that number, huh?
Dang, this is wow.
and I'll explain to you why the title is like this.
Okay, go ahead.
Something about that number. I see that number popping up everywhere. Look at that. When you type in 334, that seems to be like a special number.
Yeah, it is a special number.
Oh.
And they talk about numerology too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Numerologist in practice. That's the comment.
Make sure you
So you translate from what language?
From German to English.
German to English?
Yes, I did.
who was the author for that book again?
H.M. Vishnu.
Man, so how many languages do you speak in?
Not a lot.
A lot more than me. No, bro, that's amazing. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get this. I'm gonna add this to my cart now. I'm looking at the reviews. Yeah, here's one. Clearly either the author has six friends to write reviews, making mine the seventh, or he wrote all six. This is middling at best. However, this translation, so there's that. Translators of the works are much better. You know, there's somebody that just don't like you, and I'm going to tell you the reason why this person doesn't like you. For one, okay, it's hard to get 6 friends to review your book. I'm an author myself, and I don't have 6 friends who reviewed my book. So the first 6 people who review my book that like it, I'm going to fall into that category. And I don't have 6 friends that did that. Secondly, okay, this is middling at best. When people use words like that, that's subjective. Maybe they already knew about this information and they was going into high expectations and learning something different, but yours is just a translation. I never heard it, so once I read it, it's already got me interested. Then it says, however, this is a translation, so there's that. So how are you? What are you? See, this is why reviews don't make sense to me when people do reviews.
Yeah.
They're giving you a 2-star review for this, but yours is a translation. Did you review the book? Is the translations accurate? Is it right? Did you get that? Did the information get conveyed to you? Yes, then it's a 5-star book. A 2-star book is saying that this person didn't do their job right, meaning that they didn't translate it. You translated it, and they admitted it. That's why I hate reviews like this. And people need to learn how to give proper reviews to things. If I buy this book, it's a mere translation from another language that's not even available in my language, that's automatically 5 stars to me. Why? Because of the simple fact that it's not even available to my language. Now, if it has like spelling mistakes and errors like that, then it might be dropped down to 4, right? Because of the simple that should be easy to fix, right? A 2 is just saying, man, people like that just don't make any sense, man.
Maybe they didn't get the emotional context of the book. Probably, I don't know. Maybe they just, I don't know. Maybe they were looking for something else in that book. I don't know. Maybe they were trying to grasp at something from that book.
Let me comment on this review. This one, this guy, what's it, Daniel? Daniel doesn't really read German because the original German is really rough. It's rougher than the English translation because when I talk to the German guys, the copyright holder and his followers, and they say that my translation is actually better than the original German. So
German is a rough language. I'm German, bro. Understanding German and how they do it is crazy. But this is another one that's 2-star. Is saying that I had a dyed hair and tanning body. I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, that's not academically written, but you're also writing in multiple languages, and that's what people don't understand is that they want things. First of all, you can't be critiquing somebody if you're not on that level in the first place, right? If you can't fix a car, you can't tell somebody how good a car is fixed, right? I mean, what I mean by that is that if you don't know, I'm just gonna keep it simple. You wrote a book that was in the translation from a different language into this, and I haven't read the book, but I know for a fact that when it comes to German and the words they use, it's really hard to understand what they're saying because in a lot of cases they do say things different, mean different things. That's neat to me. I think this book would be worth it. And the only reason why, oh wow, look at you, number 246 in religious and cults, bro. You need to promote this some more, man. that's good right there, bro. That's really good.
I'm gonna be straight up with you guys on something. And when it comes down to me working with other people in tridactyls, and I work very deeply in the tridactyls field in North America. I and Professor Ed Casas are representatives of tridactyls in North America. In Canada and North America, we are the representatives for it in tridactyls.com. In fact, they're trying to buy our tridactyls.com and take that away from us. And in South America, they're the leading people in tridactyls over there, and tridactyles is what they call them. So, which the problem that North Americans are having is that they see the professionals in South America are inferior. So they look at these scientists and their degrees and all that stuff as like toy degrees. Like they don't respect the universities that they go to, the degrees that they get in South America, and then they consider them more inferior than them. And you and I know, Samuel, you know, Samuel, you and I know that North American universities are not the greatest. You go to China, those universities are freaking hard. Like the universities in China are freaking hard. You put American in a Chinese university, they would fail. On the first year, they would just get kicked out because the universities in China are so extremely hard. You have to learn so many languages and you got to do so many things. The mathematics are extremely hard. And I know. In Germany, the same thing. And many countries, the universities are extremely hard. But you come to the universities here in the United States, it's a cakewalk. It's easy. It's easy. Am I right or wrong?
you're kind of like partially right, and that's true. But in China, the universities are kind of like hard, and they kind of encourage people to do a lot of research. But I'm gonna send you a link. I'm gonna put a link on Jesus. Maybe that may interest you because it actually talks about the connection between astronomical records of China and the descriptions in the Bible. And maybe we can talk about that next time after we read that article.
I
It's
have a lot of respect for you, Samuel,
yeah.
and I have a lot of respect for your degree, and I have a lot of respect for your education. I really thank you so much for being with us because
Yeah.
you are intelligent. You are in everything that you represent is an amazing. Thank you so much for being here with us. I really do am so humble and so thankful for you. I just wanted to tell you that. I'm not trying to end the show or anything like that. I just
No,
wanted to
no,
tell
we're
you
about to
that
end it anyway
how
because
how how I feel about you being here with us, and I feel so amazingly humble for you being here. Okay, just wanted to say that to you. Go ahead, go
no,
ahead.
no, no,
Sorry
it's cool.
for just jumping in like that.
No, we're about to end it now anyway because like I said, we was
Let
gonna
him
go about an
finish what he
hour
was
anyway.
saying.
Yeah, but Samuel, you definitely, man, what you did, what you're doing is good. I'm gonna look into this. I'm gonna get the book. It'll probably be another 3 months before we have this next discussion.
Okay.
Because I do want to get time to read the book and digest it. You know how I am. I got to read the book and digest it, come up with some questions,
Okay.
and then we'll go from there. Yeah. Any last words?
No, I just wish everyone a good time.
All right. Hey, man, I appreciate it, man. Don't leave yet. I'm just gonna end the stream, and then we'll have a sidebar.
We got one last person that just said something. I don't know what it was.
He's asking if you were showing the page of the link that I just sent in the chat. No, it's not the same. No.
This one? No, that one's it.
This one is the one that I sent.
Yeah, go to that one. Go to that link right there. I'm about to click on that now. I'm actually about to do some research and some deep dive on it right now. But like I said, I appreciate it. I'm going to end the stream, and then we'll go from there. Don't leave yet, man. It's going to be like a 17-second outro, man. Until next time, everybody. Have fun, and knowledge is power.
Hey, Shay.
Got a little hype now, can I let it die down? I remember days in the trench. Time to go hard in, time to go all in, time to get my all to this shit. Panamera maxed out, first class flights out, Atlantic to Pacific, yeah, it's lit.
Hey, Samuel.